One of the interesting ways we've learned about why conversation was so important came from the Xerox company. The Xerox company has technicians who repair the machines. They have many of them. They usually are located in a region, and they work all the machines in that region. The Xerox company has a very good training system. They produce many manuals. They have great support for their copy repair technicians. They even sometimes break a machine, and then they have the copy repair technician come back and try to fix that machine that's broken. That's a way of learning. So they're very good at training their people. Someone that worked for Xerox was also doing a dissertation at Stanford University. And he decided that what he would do the dissertation study on was these copy repair technicians. He wanted to see what did they do all day long. How did they learn about their work? And so he followed them for about 6 months. He would go to the depot where they picked up parts. He would go with them to lunch. He would watch them as they worked. One of the interesting things that he discovered was that often one of the most important ways that they learned about what was wrong with the machine was to look at the wastebasket. So they would pull out things that had already been printed and thrown away, and they would say, I see what's happening on the machine. One of the things Julian Orr paid attention to were the conversations that they had at lunch. So he saw that someone very often at lunch would raise a problem, and it was a problem about a machine that they'd been working on and they hadn't been able to solve how to fix it. And they had already gone through the manuals, and they'd even called the call desk to see what kind of help they could get, and they still couldn't get it fixed. So they would describe their problem, and other people sitting around the lunch table would start to talk about machines they had worked on that had similar problems, or problems kind of like that. And through this conversation of talking about different machines and the problems they had, this person would come away with an idea, not how to fix it, but an idea about next steps to take, a way to try. What Julian Orr found out from those conversations was that no matter how good the training is, the copy repair technicians still were going to run into problems. And the way they had to get those problems solved was to talk to other people who had the same sort of problems. So when Julian Orr learned all of this, he wrote it up, of course, in a dissertation. And then he published it in a book, and the book was called Talking with Machines. And he told management about what he had learned, and they were very interested in this because they had no idea people were meeting in these small groups. They had no idea that people needed different knowledge than they could get from the manuals. So they decided that they would try to help these people who had problems that were not in the manuals. And they set up a very good system where as soon as someone discovered a problem that was not in the manual, they would send it to this system. And they called the system Eureka, which means, I discovered something. So it was a very good name to call this. So the copy repair technicians started sending in their fixes, and the fixes were very interesting. Some were a fix like, how I fixed this one was that I took a paper clip and I put it in a certain place. So they were very unique ways to fix machines that they used. And it became very popular. People used it a great deal. The people who had really good fixes became very well known. People would recognize their names. I see, this person put it in again. And they would bring all the copy repair technicians together once a year to a very big meeting where they would talk about what new machines were coming out and give more training and things like that. And at this one meeting, everyone was sitting down ready for the meeting to start, and this one person who had had so many fixes and had become so popular came in from the back of the room. And when he came in from the back of the room, people saw him and they started to stand up and shout and whistle and make all kinds of noise and clap because they wanted him to know how much they appreciated what he had done.